Hey, what's up, guys? Is your video like a plain basin that has been dried up by your favorite river? Well, if that's the case, I think you need some spices to make your beautiful speech tangy. And trust me, after watching this video, you will feel like you've just discovered a secret that was bound to be known by a great speaker. And that is the power of humor. What is humor? Well, that's what everyone knows, right? Humor is the intensity to make someone laugh. That's what I define humor as. And when a person delivers something that is so humorous or hysterical, that thing that the person has heard can never be forgotten because he or she has released a chemical called it's a chemical released from dopamine, and when it's released, the person gets attracted to the particular sentence that made them laugh, and it gives them an intent boost of energy, and thus it makes the person unable to forget about the thing that you have just said. So this is the secret weapon of great storytellers. I have written this over here because you know what? Humor is like such a beautiful weapon, and you basically use humor in your story, so it helps you, right? So humor can actually help in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, yeah. But then in stories, it helps the most. And I want to tell you that without the power of humor, without the power of humor, your speech will look really bland. So, trust me when I say this, you need to watch this video to the end and discover the powerful ways that you can make your speech even more humorous. So, I also want to tell you that I don't want numbers. Please subscribe only if you have found value in my video, because I don't want numbers. I want a good community of people who have found value from my beautiful channel. Okay, let's move on to the trick number one. We have 5 tricks in total, and I want you to stick around till the end of the video. So, the first one is exaggeration. I think there are 3, like, we have parts in a speech: introduction, body, and conclusion. And in the same way, in humor, if you want to add humor, you need to have 3 parts in this as well. So the first one is hook. You need to start with something intriguing or appealing or attractive or something that will make the people go nuts. The second is the conflict. You need to share the challenge, you need to share the problem. It can make any story gripping, you know. And the third is the solution. You need to end with the resolution or the moral or the lesson. And it's going to grip the audience with the story. But let's just say that you're talking about overcoming stage fear. So first you need the hook. So that you can say, the first time I stood on the stage, my legs were shaking so much I almost tap danced without music. So when I say I almost tap danced without music, I am actually, giving a sense of humor. And then, like, let's talk about the conflict then. What would you say in the conflict? I'd say, I opened my mouth, but no words came out. My throat was drier than Thar dessert. And then the solution. But then I remember one simple breathing technique. One. And suddenly my voice was steady. I delivered the speech with confidence. And in speeches like these, you need to add some voiceover. You need to make your voice and your pace. So we'll talk about voice modulation as well in this next video, in the next video, I guess. And voice modulation is very important in stories as well as in speeches. So I hope that you take the time to look for out for the next video as well. It won't be long before I post it. So, but now you might be thinking, how is it related to humor? See, when I'm exaggerating over here. I could say that my legs were shaking so much, but I also said I almost tapped to without music. Add something ridiculous. It's gonna make the person crazy. Nowadays, there are viral videos which are crazy, which are ridiculous, which are making no sense. But then there are so many likes on this video. There's so much craze around that video. So what if you add a little ridiculous thing in your speeches and give them knowledge or information as well? It's gonna play a severe impact on the person's mind. And I can guarantee you that, because I have tried it. When I was speaking, there was a competition in my school, and I had this talk about leadership. But then when I talked about leadership, I exaggerated a few things and made it a little funny. And I know that this beautiful thing called the humor, this amazing secret weapon that had me stumbled upon these beautiful words, have given me the chance to win the first prize. And I know it. So you need to exaggerate, you need to make it memorable and make it easy to follow, because you can't make it like something that's like it's not even matching to your speech. If there's out of topic that is just crazy, that is itself ridiculous, you need to make the sentence ridiculous. You need to make it, but you need to make it easy to follow along with the speech. It should be related to what you're speaking, right? Don't go off the topic though. So that's why when we're talking about exaggeration, you need to blow it up. You need to take some small moments and blow them widely out of proportion. Create a comedic contrast between reality and imagination. So you need to create. I think I love this trick. I have written this down because it plays a severe impact in when you're doing exaggerating, but then you're just shifting directly from the reality to the imaginative world, and you're not adding any comedy contrast. It's just gonna be like you're having water with no minerals, and it's not good. Water with no air or minerals. You know that it it can be it can be deadly to have water, right? It can be deadly to have water without air. The same way, when you don't add a contrast in the reality world, in the imaginative world, it's also going to be like a deadly combination. So, when I talk about creating contrast, do it really wisely, because wrong humor can also give a very bad impact on the people of your speech. Next is laugh out loud. You need to turn these mundane experiences into laugh out loud stories. So I watched a speech, and the most boring thing is maybe biology for me. And I'm listening to this lecture from someone else, and they've had it such beautiful laugh out loud stories, and it made it so humorous. Even those mundane things, the structure of leaf or the structure of flower, it made it easier to understand. Because of what? Because of humor, because of those laugh out loud stories. So just don't make it so boring or so dull. Try to add some humor. Try to add some you, your crazy you. And it's gonna help. I know it will. Next is self-deprecation. Your comedy gold mine. So, have you watched those relatable videos? Because I have watched a lot of relatable videos and I love them. When you're an adult and you see those teenagers making videos when you were young, and it is so relatable. You love those videos, don't you? So in the same case over here as well, you need to add those vivid details. What I mean by this is, you need to start trying to make it relatable. When you make things relatable, people just find it more easier to cooperate with you while you're speaking. And I know, I think when you add something relatable in your stories as well, people also find you more trustworthy because you seem to find the same person. So whenever I meet a friend and they ask me my favorite color, first I ask them what's theirs, and then when they tell me their favorite color, I give them a shade of the same color. And sometimes it makes it relatable. And next is confidence. You need to share those embarrassing moments with confidence. Like when I post my videos, I put a lot of lot of embarrassing moments, like I was this, I was that. You don't have to go to full bad mode. You don't have to show that you are, like, sometimes some people don't find it good, but then you need to try. You need to try, right? So next is universal humor. You need to turn personal mishaps into universal humor. And you need to use vivid details as well. I don't know, but vivid details are the best. You need to use the five senses for the trick using vivid details, because boring stories are vague. Great stories paint pictures in the listener's mind. So instead of saying like I was nervous, you could say my hands were clammy, my throat felt like sandpaper, and my knees were doing the cha-cha. And people will laugh, for sure they will, because they know that okay. uh you need to make it as seem even as that laughter is not only for the audience but it's also for you, so you need to also laugh, because it's called relatability as well. And vivid details make the story more immersive, and it helps the listener visualize the screen that you're displaying through your words. Use the five senses. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you taste? What do you smell? And the more sensory detail, the more real the story feels. Then, so I think this is a really beautiful technique. I I have used, and you also need to use. Then you have to put the unexpected twists, because this is the comedy's best friend. Put something ridiculous. Put something unexpectedly, shatter those expectations of maturity. Add those surprise, add this emotion. If the story is too predictable, if the story is too predictable, the audience will tune out, because if there's a book, you're reading it, you already know the story. After that, you will not find that much interest in reading it later. But in the same way, if the story has suspense in the middle, in the climax, you want to know what's in the climax, you want to know what's happening in the ending, that's where your energy, your enthusiasm will rise up to read the entire book. So this is the same thing. You need to try to add some unexpected details. Like, instead of saying I was scared before my speech but it went well, you need to say I was scared but I thought no big deal, just 100 people watching. Then the MC said, we are also live streaming this to 5,000 viewers. My stomach instantly started a salsa dance. So here I'm also using vivid details. Here I'm also using those unpredictable um, points. Like, you just said that there was no big deal, just 100 people watching. But then when the MC said that it was going to 5,000 viewers, this was an unpredictable thing to the person. So keep stories filled with surprises, I'd say, keep people on their toes. Adding humor or vulnerability makes you more relatable. And if the story feels flat, throw it into a dark room with unexpected detail or a funny twist. Right? So add those misdirection to deliver unexpected punchlines. Yes, timing. I'd say timing is the most important thing because it's not just in humor. When you are talking about the starting and you put the middle in it and you're not waiting for the correct timing, it's gonna make a bad impression on the audience. So you need to make the perfect pause, you need to control anticipation and release on time, and you need to practice rhythm and delivery like a pro. Let me elaborate on it because I think this should be known. So you know what makes story boring, right? You need to stop talking non-stop like a runway train. Great stories and great storytellers pause and know how to pause at the right moments. Instead of saying, I stood on the stage, I forgot my lines, and I panicked. Say, I stood on the stage and suddenly I forgot every single word. My mind was blank, completely blank. See? And that beautiful pause creates the suspense you want. Your audience leans in. It gives your words more power, more emotion, more relatability. And when you hit a key point, pause for 2 or 3 seconds. It lets the audience process and feel the impact. So you could have seen how beautiful it felt when I said. Now, you need to add humor properly. Okay. So now let's talk about this anticipation thing. How do you know when to control the anticipation, when you need to release the suspense after pause? So when you have just mastered the art of the perfect comedic pause by pausing at the right moment after the keyword, you have to release the suspense and time as well. And rhythm is basically when you're doing these two things at the right time and you're delivering it to the person on the right time. So when you're doing that, you're making a huge impact. It's done. Now, you have these speeches where you're talking about a very serious thing and you know that these are some common frustrations or these are some moments of degradation or something that is really serious. Maybe you're talking about anesthesia or the culling of animals, and you don't want to add humor, but you know that without humor, your speech is going bland. So, in that case, also, you need to make it a little elaborative and add various expressions because in common frustrations, in common experiences, people have to learn how to smile, and you have to give it, that message to your audience because I have understood that when I was young, learning without humor or learning without fun is really cruel to students. And maybe that happens to people every day. You're just killing the creativity. But when we talk about speeches, you need to find humor in everyday struggles. You need to identify, you need to add visual details, you need to make it like you mean it. And soon, these common frustrations will turn into comedy, and you will share those moments of hysterical feelings, and only as a speaker only you will know, and as an audience only they will know how they felt when you were actually addressing the common cause of the speech's main thing, and you're making them laugh as well in those common frustrative areas. Next is the trick that we always have: practice makes perfect. So as I said before, in all my videos almost, practice makes a man perfect. Record yourself, analyze it, test jokes with different audiences because not all audiences will like all jokes. Study your audience, know your audience, and trust me, it's gonna make a good difference. Embrace failure as a part of comedy growth, because not everyone can become a stand up comedian just as they have started. It won't come overnight. Rome was not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. So embrace failure as a part of comedy growth. And soon after, you will become a good speaker. So, this is your toolkit. Combine techniques for maximum impact. Stay authentic to your personal style. As I said, you should always speak with a crazy you. If there is no you, that is not your speech. And if that's not your speech, why are you even delivering it, by the way? Next is, if you laugh, remember, if you laugh, your audience will too. If you can laugh, if you can laugh on this crazy joke, whatever it is, your audience will too, because it's human nature, right? So, bye, guys. This is the end of the video. And if I have given you information, please do subscribe, please. And I have also made another video on a 1 minute speech, 1 minute challenge, where you need to speak for 1 minute for 30 days, and I have given you topics. So you need to watch that video as well. I've been like recommending it from the last 5 or 4 videos. Why, because I think this is going to be the best challenge for you guys for improving your public speaking communication skills, and use the tricks that you've been taught. It's going to help. So, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Meet you soon in the next video.